What is going on, Dub Nation? Smitty here from Warriors Today by Chat Sports, filling in for Chase Sr. here as things are very busy in the Chat Sports offices this time of year, and we have a Chat Sports holiday this week, so we had to get some videos for you guys for the weekend and whatnot. So we're doing a Warriors mailbag, answering your questions that we put out a post on our social page for yesterday. And today we're going to answer your questions. Have a lot to talk about, Warriors trade rumors and what have you. So we're going to dive right in. But first, before we do, if you want to be the first person on our videos day in and day out, because we're posting daily Warriors content here on the channel, go down and hit the bell icon and set your notifications to all, so you're never missing a piece of content that we have out here. You don't want to be missing Warriors content. What if they trade for Lauri Markkanen? We're making a video immediately. We might go live, and the only way you're going to find out is if you turn on those notifications. So hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat here at Warriors Today. All right, first question coming in from Luke123 Podcast, one of the best question askers here on the channel. He says, if you want to trade for Lauri Markkanen, who are you trading out of Podziemski, Kuminga, Moody, and Trayce Jackson-Davis, #Warriors? Luke, it's a great question because, to be honest with you, I don't want to trade any of these guys. The Warriors have a great crop of young talent at their disposal right now, and recent reports have shown that they don't want to give up Brandin Podziemski in this deal, who the Jazz seem to be more focused on as opposed to Jonathan Kuminga. But these two players are absolutely young studs that are ascending for this Warriors roster. If you look at the stats last year, obviously Jonathan Kuminga took the big leap, and his numbers only got better after complaining to Steve Kerr about his playing time, his role, and he really got his efficiency numbers up there. Obviously, the 32% three-point percentage is going to have to get better, and it did toward the end of last season. He was shooting close to 37% from three. And Brandin Podziemski, the ultimate floor general, right? We're talking about him maybe taking the reins for Steph Curry over the next couple of years, now that Steph Curry is kind of entering the last stage of his prime. I don't want to give up either of these guys, but if I had to choose between one of Kuminga or Podziemski, who I think is going to take this deal, one of these two players is the only way that a deal for Lauri Markkanen happens, I'm going to have to go with Brandin Podziemski. I think the wing versatility that Jonathan Kuminga provides, both offensively and defensively, is a premium in today's NBA, and Brandin Podziemski is just a guy who I don't think he's expendable, but I think he's a little bit more expendable than Jonathan Kuminga. I know both these guys aren't getting paid too much right now, and Brandin Podziemski's contract specifically is something the Warriors are very much benefit by. $3.5, $3.7, $5.3 million over the next 3 seasons they have him under team control. I understand the value there, but I'm keeping Jonathan Kuminga as a blue chip wing for this Warriors roster. Next up, coming in from Robertson355, he had a Lakers profile picture on there. I hope you're not a Lakers fan, my man. #Warriors trade idea. Jarrett Allen and also Max Strus for Andrew Wiggins and also Trayce Jackson-Davis and future picks. Interesting. We've talked about Jarrett Allen on the channel, but we haven't talked about him as of late. And back then, we kind of thought, maybe it would take Andrew Wiggins and a Moses Moody and a first-round pick in this deal. I'm really not in the business of giving up Trayce Jackson-Davis when Jarrett Allen, yes, he's taller. Yes, he's probably a better shot blocker, but they're kind of the same player in a sense, right? I'd like to keep Trayce Jackson-Davis and have him play behind Jarrett Allen and hopefully morph into a player that Jarrett Allen has come to be. He's an all-star level guy, averaging 17 and 10, and his numbers are actually only getting better in the playoffs. His efficiency is only getting up there as well. 63% from the field. You know he's going to be that lob threat. You know he's going to score most of his buckets around the rim, but you're really getting him for the rebounding and the rim protection that Golden State has really lacked over the last couple of seasons. Am I in the business of giving up Trayce Jackson-Davis for him? If that was the one-for-one, yeah, I guess I probably would, but I'd be more in the camp of trying to offload a Moses Moody just based on the acquisitions that Golden State has made in free agency. I'd be more inclined to do a deal like that, centered around Wiggins and Moody and maybe a second for Jarrett Allen over giving up Trayce Jackson-Davis and multiple picks in a deal like that. Next up, we got Ivan coming in hot, #Warriors. What do you think about Warriors getting Walker Kessler and Jordan Clarkson for Moses Moody, Kevon Looney, Gary Payton II, and picks? I would love this deal. To be quite honest with you, I think Colin Sexton would be a perfect backup point guard behind Steph Curry, and you still have Brandin Podziemski in there, so you could run both of those guys, Sexton at the 2 in some instances as well. And Moses Moody is obviously the blue chip that you're giving up in this deal. I'm not sure the Jazz would accept this, though. I think if you're talking about picks, I'm wagering those picks on a trade for Lauri Markkanen or a Brandon Ingram or somebody who's really going to take this team to the next level as a playoff squad in the West. But Walker Kessler's very good. He's kind of that Jarrett Allen-esque player, but much taller. I'd argue he's a better rim protector at a younger age. He is cheaper than Jarrett Allen at the moment, even though Jarrett Allen does have a very good contract at $20 million a year. But Walker Kessler, Jordan Clarkson, I don't know. It's one of those situations where, and I know I was talking about Colin Sexton before. I don't know why I slipped up there. But Jordan Clarkson, good bench scoring spark, and Walker Kessler, an elite young rim protector that could really make this Warriors defense the formidable force that it once was back in the 2010s. I like this deal. If I had to hit A for accept or D for decline, I think I would take A for accept, barring what the picks would be. If it was 1 second-round pick, 2 second-round picks, I'd be much more inclined to take this deal. But I'm not sure that Utah is taking this deal for Walker Kessler, who they value pretty highly as well. But who would you trade for? We talked about 2 rim-protecting centers so far in today's Warriors video. Who would you take? Would you take Jarrett Allen? Would you rather trade for him? I think it would cost a little bit less to trade for Walker Kessler. So if you're thinking about trading for Walker Kessler, type those WKs in the comments. And if you're talking about Jarrett Allen coming to Golden State and probably providing a little bit more on the offensive end, type those JAs down below. And as always, you know we're making content every single day here at the channel. And it's largely surrounding the latest Warriors trade rumors. They're trying to make this deal for Lauri Markkanen. If you think Golden State must make a trade in order to improve this roster for the 2024-25 season, go on ahead and hit that thumbs up icon for us down below, just to show us that you're making a statement, that you're telling Joe Lacob, you're telling Mike Dunleavy that this team needs to get better and they need to make a trade to do so. Next up, coming in from True Mentality, #Warriors, do you think a Draymond trade is possible? I have heard several mentions, including from Ben Simmons, or I think Bill Simmons, he's talking about here. I think if we could save approximately $4 million in cap by making a trade and getting additional draft capital in the process, it could possibly help with Markkanen negotiations. I haven't heard much about Draymond Green trade from really anybody, to be honest with you, because Draymond Green's in a unique situation where he's making $25+ million a year for the next 3. He's got 2 years guaranteed in the deal, then a player option, which he's most likely going to accept at that age, where he'll probably be 37, 38 years old, making $27 million a year, and it's going to be a bad contract. But Draymond Green just seems like a Warrior for life at this point. I don't think he's really in a situation to be traded. The defensive impact that he makes, the playmaking impact that he makes still at this age does benefit Golden State. And, you know, what are you really going to get for Draymond Green in any type of deal? Are you going to get, draft capital? If you are, then you're kind of signaling to yourself that you're going to be entering a rebuild. I'm of the camp that you need to be maximizing the last couple of years of Steph Curry's career, trying to get him as close to a 5th championship as possible. And I don't think that any trade that you include Draymond Green in is necessarily going to help further those pursuits. I think Draymond Green's going to have to stay here if the Warriors want to remain competitive. And at that contract, I don't really see what a team's willing to give you back in return for Draymond Green at this age and this performance level. So I'm kind of out on a Draymond Green trade. I think, honestly, with the theatrics and the nonsense that he does provide, it can be a headache at times. But at the end of the day, he's the heart and soul of this Warriors team, and you just got to live with it for the remainder of his contract. Next up, coming in from Cade Jackson 1200, my guy Cade. What up, my man? #Warriors hot take. Please keep negotiating and make a deal for Lauri Markkanen. I love Jonathan Kuminga, but he is not what we need on this team. I believe Danny Ainge is breaking down his offer because he knows Lauri Markkanen will not sign an extension, and he goes on to say, trade Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and a pick, and go get Lauri Markkanen. Like I said before, I would rather trade Brandin Podziemski in a deal for Lauri Markkanen. I think Brandin Podziemski's kind of becoming this Tyler Hero-esque figure where he's being a little bit overvalued by Golden State and maybe even a couple other teams. And I think that the Jazz should take advantage of that. I do think that they should keep negotiating for Lauri Markkanen during this offseason. I think they have to go pedal to the metal because he's the guy that's going to take this Warriors team to the next level. Talk about a guy who fits seamlessly in this Warriors offense. Yes, 25 points a game, 23 points a game in his last 2 seasons with the Jazz. You could argue that those are empty numbers putting up with a bad team, but I'll tell you straight up that the efficiency that he's shooting with at 50% from the field and 40% from three, you're just not going to find that with many players in today's NBA. Plus, he doesn't provide great rim protection, but he is that 7-footer who can get down there and play closer to the block. And, the ability that he has to stretch the floor, shoot off the catch, shoot off the dribble, attack a closeout, 1 dribble, 2 dribbles to the cup and get it up and in. I think Lauri Markkanen is the guy that unlocks this Warriors roster, and he could even be better. Maybe the numbers aren't at 25 points per game with Golden State, but the efficiency is there, and the impact on winning is there. If I had to really say, if you're going to get Lauri Markkanen, you have to give up Jonathan Kuminga, I'm probably going to do it. So, Cade, I understand your frustrations with the negotiations so far, and I would give up Jonathan Kuminga if it ended up happening, but obviously, like I said, I'd give up Podziemski first. Next up, Ty Not Tyler. I'm Tyler. You're Ty. All right, I got that. If the Warriors do poor this season, is trading Steph for the future the best move? Like the Celtics with KG and Paul Pierce. Listen, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett were 2 pillars of that era of Celtics basketball. They won him a championship in 2008. But I think regardless of how the team does, I understand wanting to put Steph Curry in the best position possible to win his 5th championship, but I don't think that there is any scenario where you trade Steph Curry. I don't care what is offered. I mean, yes, if Giannis Antetokounmpo is offered to you by Milwaukee, you take the deal, right? But nobody's going to offer that. I don't think that there's going to be a substantial package that is available out there for the NBA that would make me be okay with not letting Steph Curry finish his career with the Warriors. He is a Warrior for life, and you have to do everything in your power to trade everything that's possible that's not named Steph Curry to go help him win a 5th championship. I don't see that there's any way that Golden State trades Steph Curry, and there's no reason they should, because he's the best Warrior of all time. He's got 4 championships, and he's a guy that deserves to spend his career with one franchise. I don't think that anybody is looking at Dirk Nowitzki, looking at Kobe Bryant, and saying, oh, those last couple of years of their career, that really was a stain on that things, right? No, they remember the championships they won, and they remember the impact they had on that team, that organization, that city. No circumstance where I'm trading Steph Curry. But I want to hear from you. Is there any circumstance where you would trade Steph? Would you want to get future assets back for number 30? If so, comment down below yes, and comment why. But also, if you don't think so, let me know why and voice why you think Steph Curry should be a part of this team for the rest of his career. Last up, we got a question from Cholar. Yeah, Cholar? My bad. That's a tough pronunciation. My bad. But, #Warriors, what is the biggest weakness that this team needs to address? I think it's still the interior. I think it's still the rim protection. Obviously, you get year 2 out of Trayce Jackson-Davis, and he's looked good. He looked good in Summer League, and he looked good playing for the Team USA Select team. But you draft Quentin Post, and he's still unsigned. So that raises a couple of questions. The depth at the big man position, Kevon Looney is not giving you anything as far as rim protection goes at this point in his career. So, honestly, it's got to be rim protection. We talked about Walker Kessler. We talked about Jarrett Allen earlier in this video. And you have to have somebody down there who can alter shots and get rebounds, because those were 2 areas that the Warriors really lacked in last season. You can't have Draymond Green down in the paint being your number 1 rebound guy, trying to grab him 11, 12 a game. That's just not how he plays anymore. So you really have to go get an established big down there. And I think, if you look back at Lauri Markkanen's numbers, he was averaging 8.5 boards a game last year for the Utah Jazz. So he can go down there and get some, clean the glass a little bit at 7 foot tall. I think the rim protection is got to be the biggest weakness on this team still to this point, and they do have to address it in some way, in my opinion, before the season starts. That'll do it for today's Warriors Q&A Mailbag. Subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/WarriorsTV. We're doing videos every single day covering everything you need to know about Golden State's offseason, Lauri Markkanen trade pursuits, and more. You're going to want to stick with us, so hit that sub button for me.